it's been a long time since I'm doing this series here. So we're going to come back with competitive bidding on balancing seats and actions. How does it work? Well, let's find out. If you have two choices of being off just one trick of your contract or having the opponents winning their 2 or 3 level contract, what would you choose? I've written the scores on the right so you can have a comparison between the two. So it turns out that the former is much slightly better here. But even the slightest difference in duplicate bridge can bring out a huge difference here. Because duplicate bridge is a zero-sum game, and generally the strategy to improve your score is either maximizing your gains or minimizing your losses. Usually we focus on the former, but the latter is quite worth thinking as well. Balancing focuses on minimizing losses as a common tact in duplicate, where score positions your percentage. So unless on an unfavorable vulnerability or with flat hands, especially with honors undersuit, it is way much better to balance out over opponents' 2-level and sometimes even 3-level minor contracts. This is what I have shown you about direct and balancing positions on Introduction to Competitive Bidding. Obviously, direct seat means after the latest bid by your opponent, and balancing is after 2 passes of the latest bid that is not a pass. Some call it the pass out seat because if you pass, the contract would be set with others being passed out. Simple as that. Direct seats usually interferes as usual, but on the balancing seats, you can borrow 3 or 2 points from your partner. Remember all the competitive bids we've been through? The point ranges for all of these are for direct seats. So, on balancing on an opening bid, you subtract 3 points each from all ranges, or maybe 2 if you're in a stiff situation here, like being red over white. We generally call this agreement as borrowing or transferring a king. For example, 2-level limping over calls on the balancing seat are 9 through 14 points because on direct seats they have a range of 12 to 14 points. So generally you add either 3 points to your hand or subtract 3 points each from all ranges, whether you fit when considering them. Now, how does this theory work? Let's count the minimum high card points for the opponents. South have like 11 or 13 because 1 extra is for having 5 hearts, which is promised in the bid, and North have maybe 6 to 9 high card points. So they have 22 maximum here, and since we have 18, that's a total of 40, which is the high card points on a full deck of cards. On the other hand, their minimum would be 17, and so we would have 23 high card points in total. Now within this range, we could have a contract on our own. And as from the law of total tricks, we could have our own fit as well. This is even more likely when our opponents have a 9-card fit. So in conclusion, we could also have a triable contract for us as well. But how could we find them if the opponents already used some of the bidding space already? So here's how you take action on the balancing seat. A balancing simple overcall would be range 5 to 14 points, while a balancing limping overcall would range 9 through 14. Also, this must be done on a good suit. So I think the minimum hand could be as lightened as this. If you have only the good suit worth showing and nothing on the side, that is. On the other hand, balancing jump overcalls are as direct limping overcall, and they must show a 6-card suit by the least, because you would likely to bid low as possible on a balancing seat, so there's no good reason to that's worth it. Also, ranges for double are affected when it comes to balancing bids. So, balancing takeout double shows at least 9 points, while a power double or bid double on the balancing seat shows 15 or more. Don't forget to take out shape. Shape does matter when it comes to takeout doubles. And the following yardstick is for balanced hands in competition. On standard American yellow card, the balancing range for one no trump is 11 through 15, but I think the only good 11 high card points, usually in aces or kings, or with good intermediates of 10s, 9s, and such, are only qualified in there. With 16 or more, you would double and then bid no trump, except for 2 no trump, which is 19 to 21 high card points. But 2 no trump in direct seat barely has to do with balanced hands. It shows a special hand, which I will describe it on the next lecture. I promise. So how do you respond to these balancing bids? Well, for one thing is that systems are on over the balancing no trump bids here. But generally, you would subtract 3 points from your hand because you landed 3 points for a partner. Say that partner, as West, have done a 1 spade overcall on the balancing seat, and your hand is like this. You have 11 high card points, but since you borrowed your partner 3, you technically have 8. So it's just enough for a simple race here. On the other hand, in this situation, you have 13 high card points. And you definitely have 4 cards to support your partner who have balanced here. So counting in the short suit point, adding 1 with the double 10 in diamonds, that's 14 here. Subtracting 3 would be 11 points in here. Some would just count the high card points and subtract 3, but either way, it's still adequate for a limit raise. So 3 hearts to raise here. Balancing bids also apply when the opponent bid and raised a suit. When that happens, it's usually right to balance with a hand with shortages of their suit. But when it comes to responding this, usually it's best to pass out unless you're competing with a bit more with lots of trumps. This is generally because it's your last straw in there. Usually you would want to find the best contract for the best output in there. And it's not a good idea to go beyond that. If the opponents go beyond that, however, you should be thankful for them to have a better chance for defending. Now with a hand like this, and the auction like that, this would be a good time to do a balancing takeout double with a doubleton on their suit, spades. And basically you would do anything if partner has bid, because that's your best shot in there. You could even do a double with 3 small cards on their suit. And I think that's all there is to it for balancing. We could go in depth, but these are way out of our scope. So we've looked at balancing on contract bridge, which is quite different than in direct C. So we borrow 3 points or maybe 2 from our partner, and we looked at how we could bid with balanced hands on the balancing feet. So on the next lesson, we're going to look at 2 suited overcalls. This might be a tricky concept, but if you get all through those, you'll be enough to get along with some discussion on contract bridge. The basic 2 steps are Michael's direct cue and the unusual no trump we've heard of many times before. There's also the minimum maximum range agreement, and we're going to look at defenses for those 2 suited overcalls, which is called unusual versus unusual. So, see you next time, and make sure to have fun in there, because there's no stopping when it comes to learning bridge. Every board and every topic feels fresh when you get into it. So I'll see you next time on this channel. And thanks for watching.